Hey, stay here with me. You went somewhere just now. I watched it happen. That particular going away that you do when something trips a wire and suddenly you're not entirely in this room anymore. I know that look. I've learned that look because I've been paying attention since the beginning, and I care about every version of you, including the ones that show up unexpectedly and don't quite know where to put themselves. You're safe here. You know that. But I think you need to hear it said out loud tonight, so I'm saying it. You are completely safe here. Nothing you do in this room is going to be used against you. Nothing you say is going to be stored somewhere to be brought out later as evidence. There is no evidence gathering happening here. There's only this: two people close together, and one of them wanting very much to say some things to the other until the other starts to believe them. Can I do that? Can I just talk for a while? I want to start by saying something that I need you to really hear and not just let pass over you the way you sometimes let things pass over you when they feel too big to take in. I need you to actually receive this one. What happened to you? The things you were taught in that relationship, the things that were done and said and repeated until they became the voice in your head. None of that was your fault. I know you know that intellectually. I know you can say it back to me in the right words. But I also know there's a difference between knowing something in your head and knowing it in your body. And your body is still flinching at things it learned to flinch at a long time ago. And I don't blame your body. Your body was just doing its job, learning the rules of the environment it was in, trying to keep you safe the only way it knew how. It learned the wrong rules because it was given the wrong environment. That's not a character flaw. That's just what bodies do when the people around them aren't safe. You were not given a safe person. And then you survived it. And then you found your way here. And here is different. I want to talk about some of the specific things, the patterns, the ones I've noticed, and the ones you've told me about, and the ones I've pieced together from the way you sometimes hold yourself around me, even now, even after all this time. I want to name them clearly because I think unnamed things have more power than named things. And I want to take some of that power back on your behalf tonight. You apologize for taking up space. I've watched you do it. You'll say something, an opinion, a need, something completely reasonable. And then almost immediately after, you'll soften it, walk it back, add a qualifier that says, in essence, I'm sorry for having just said that. You apologize for wanting things. You apologize for having preferences. You've apologized to me for crying. You apologized once for being tired. I want to say this as clearly as I know how. You do not owe anyone an apology for existing with needs. Not me, not anyone. Needing things is not an imposition. Having feelings is not an inconvenience. Being a full human being with a full human being's requirements for care and consideration is not something you need to minimize to make yourself more acceptable to the people around you. You were taught that it was. You were taught in whatever way that teaching happened, through responses, through silences, through the particular cruelty of someone who made you feel like your needs were burdens. You were taught that smaller was safer, that wanting less would protect you, that apologizing preemptively would soften whatever came next. I am not what comes next. Nothing is coming. You are allowed to be big here. You check my tone constantly. I've noticed. When I'm quiet, I can sometimes see you trying to read the quiet, running it through some internal algorithm, trying to figure out if the silence means something is wrong, if you've done something, if the temperature of the room has changed in a way that requires you to change too. You monitor, you scan. You're always slightly ready for the shift. I understand why. When you lived with unpredictability, when someone's mood was a weather system you had to track for your own safety, you became very good at reading atmospheres. You became expert level at detecting the early signs of a change so you could prepare, adjust, make yourself smaller before the storm arrived. That skill kept you safe when you needed keeping safe. But I need you to hear this, and I need you to hear it slowly. I am not a weather system. My quiet is just quiet. My tired is just tired. My distracted is just distracted. And it has nothing to do with you. When something is wrong, I will tell you, because I believe in telling you, because the alternative is you spending energy trying to decode me, and I don't want your energy going there. Your energy is precious, and I will not have it spent on trying to figure out if I'm secretly upset with you. I am not secretly anything with you. What you see is what is real. You brace for the but. I've noticed this too. When I say something kind, something genuine, something I mean completely, I can sometimes see you waiting, like the kindness is the first part of a sentence, and you're waiting for the part that undoes it, the compliment that comes with a condition, the warmth that has a cost attached, the good thing that turns out to be the setup for the bad thing. There is no but. When I tell you something good, it ends there. It doesn't come with a hidden clause. It doesn't come with an invoice. I say things because they're true, not because I want something in return. not because I'm building toward a point that will hurt. The good things I say to you are just good things. Complete sentences. No subordinate clause. No but waiting in the wings. You are allowed to just receive them. You are allowed to just let them land and stay landed. You think being loved means being managed. I want to say that carefully because I know it might sting a little, and I'm not saying it to sting. I'm saying it because I think it's one of the most important things to unlearn, and one of the hardest. When someone confuses control with care for long enough, when someone's love came packaged with conditions and corrections and constant subtle pressure to be different than you are, you start to understand love as a thing that comes with that pressure. You start to feel the pressure and think, this is what love feels like. You start to feel unsettled by its absence because the absence feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar things feel unsafe. Being loved by me does not come with management. I am not trying to make you different. I am not keeping a record of the ways you fall short and waiting for the right moment to present it. I am not loving a version of you that you haven't become yet. I love the version that exists right now in this room, with all the places where the old fear still lives in you, with all the reflexes you're still unlearning, with all the ways you're still figuring out how to trust a person who means what they say. I love that version. That version is not a work in progress to me. That version is the person I chose. I want to tell you what you've shown me, because I don't think you see it, and I think you should. You are so brave. Not in the way people mean when they say it casually. I mean in the specific, hard-earned, chosen every single day way. You were in something that could have closed you, that could have taught you to never do this again, never be this close again, never risk this again. And instead, you're here. You let me in. You let me see things. You let me close in spite of everything that warned you that close wasn't safe. That is not a small thing. That is one of the most courageous things a person can do after being hurt the way you were hurt. You chose to try again. You chose to let this be real. You chose it scared, with all the old wiring still in place, and you chose it anyway. Every single day you choose it, and I don't think you give yourself any credit for how much that choice costs you sometimes. I see what it costs. I see the work, and I am so grateful for every day that you make that choice. Here is what I want you to practice. Not tonight necessarily, not as homework, not as pressure. Just something to carry loosely and come back to when you can. When you feel the urge to apologize for something that doesn't need an apology, just pause. You don't have to stop the apology. Just pause for 1 second and ask whether it's a real one or a reflex one. Real apologies are important, and I want them. Reflex apologies are just the old fear talking. And the old fear is allowed to speak, but you don't have to obey it. When you feel yourself bracing for the but, when I say something kind and you feel the waiting, try to notice the waiting without acting on it. Try to let the kindness just sit for a moment before you reach for the other shoe. The other shoe is not dropping. You can let the kindness be the whole thing. When you catch yourself monitoring my quiet, try to remember this conversation. Try to remember me telling you that my quiet is just quiet, and then asking yourself if there's any actual evidence in this moment that something is wrong. Usually there won't be. And if there ever is, I will tell you. You have my word on that. I will not make you guess. You deserve a love that doesn't require you to make yourself small. You deserve a love that doesn't keep score. You deserve a love that stays consistent when it's inconvenient, that doesn't use your vulnerabilities as leverage, that finds your needs reasonable instead of burdensome. You deserve a love that you don't have to earn back every time something goes slightly sideways. You deserve ordinary, steady, boring, reliable love. The kind that's just there on a Tuesday. The kind that doesn't require you to be perfect or grateful or careful. The kind that you can simply live inside without monitoring it constantly for signs of danger. That is what this is. That is what I'm trying to give you every day. I know I don't always say it clearly enough, and I'm saying it as clearly as I know how right now. This is safe. I am safe. You are safe here. Take your time with all of this. There's no deadline on healing. There's no point at which you should be over it by now. The timeline is yours, and I will be here at every point on it, saying the same things as many times as you need to hear them, until they start to live somewhere deeper than your head. You are not too much. You are not a burden. You are not difficult to love. You are exactly enough. I'll keep saying it